And here we are. And that's not supposed to be there. Skype window.
Ah.
No, I took it away. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Conan Exiles live stream. And it is Friday. It is a momentous occasion because Conan Exiles has been 1 year in early access. Good morning, good afternoon. And also because it is my birthday.
It is your birthday!
Woo-hoo! Happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday to Jens. Happy birthday to Jens.
Yeah, Oscar doesn't sing.
Happy birthday, dear Jens. Happy birthday to Jens. Woo!
Woo! I am today 30 years old.
3 decades on this earth.
I am officially a grown-ass man.
Grown-ass man. Is that what happens? You're a 20-something and then you're a grown-ass man?
Yes.
Nice.
Like once I cross over into my 30s, I am officially an adult. Adult at heart. At least that is what it feels like.
Never an adult at heart.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're wearing the Dragon Ball
Always
Z
a kid.
thing, so.
Always a kid inside.
All right. My name is Jens Erik, as you probably already know. I'm here with Joel Bylos, who is in a suit, in case you missed it.
It's hard to see. It's black on black.
Yeah, it's black on black, so the lighting is a bit iffy. And I'm here with Oscar Lopez Lacaille. Am I saying it right?
Close enough.
Close enough.
Yes.
Awesome.
It is not an insult to his ancestors. You know, like that.
Awesome.
Only to half of them.
Please let us know if the audio is good. I'm trying to project my voice in a radio style, but the microphone is a bit far away, so it might be that, you might not pick us up. Anywho, since it is our 1 year anniversary in early access, we figured why not show the thing that people have been asking us about, which is the new combat system. And we have a lot of ground to cover. So
We have notes.
we have notes. We all came prepared.
Notes.
Oscar made a lot of notes.
You know,
More so than I
someone's
did.
going to freeze frame that, zoom in.
Yeah.
Wait,
like,
wait,
hey,
why is that crossed out?
What does all this say? All right. So since we have a lot of stuff to cover, I think we're just gonna jump straight into the game.
Sounds good.
And this does not look great.
It was suddenly.
Suddenly, it was very dark out. Come on, give me noon or give me death.
Are you server admin?
I am server admin. Otherwise, I couldn't be able to.
That's true.
Well,
It is the middle of the night.
Darkness falls.
We can just go to the illuminated area. It's fine.
Darkness falls in
Let's
Hyperlight.
go to the side where there's light.
it's supposed to be light out. Ah, damn it. Okay, I have no idea what's going on now.
Surprise?
I'm gonna unfreeze the sky, unfreeze time. There we go.
There we go.
Freeze, freeze. Wonderful. All right,
That looks much better.
here we are. Nicole is joining us in the game. I believe. Yeah, I know. I had one job, Mobus Bloom, and I messed it up. I'm a terrible person. On my birthday, even. All right, Nicole is with us in the game. She's gonna help us out with some combat stuff. Andy is in the chat answering questions. Nicole might also be in the chat. It's like a Funcom 2-way or something. I'm also going to move this stuff up here so people can see us. All right. So we've done a lot of changes to combat. We have also done there's
HUD
more.
changes, probably the first thing they can see.
We've also done a lot of other changes, and I need to just take care of this stuff because this isn't working right.
Trivial stream things.
There we go.
Alright.
Just stream things. All right, there we go.
HUD.
So, as you can see, we have a new HUD up in the upper left corner. So the top bar is our health, the bottom bar is our stamina, and then of course there's our water, our food, our encumbrance, and our temperature. And then of course there's the shelter buff, which we get because we are inside this lovely little combat arena that I've built for ourselves up here in the frozen north. I'm not going to spend too much time looking at this from the outside, but yeah. Someone says that their OCD is driving them nuts. Well, that's too bad. Sorry for that. And what else have we done? We've done a lot of movement changes. We've done a lot of animation changes. Maybe we can start talking a bit about that, Oscar.
So, for starters, the first thing you will notice, I guess, is the HUD. It's a pretty drastic change on the way we represent information in the HUD. Specifically, health and stamina. They have a much more prominent position now because they have become much more important. The stamina is now a resource that you will have to manage to be able to do well in combat. It's a bit different to the way it works on life right now. The stamina will be used pretty fast by your attacks, but once you run out of stamina, you will not be able to act for, I think it's 2.5 seconds right now. We're still tweaking that, and we'll continue tweaking that.
You can move, but you can't.
Yeah, you can move, but you cannot perform any action that requires stamina.
Yes.
Correct.
Like swinging your sword.
Yes.
And then it will quickly regenerate to full again. So it creates this kind of tempo of using your stamina, and then, well, if you let it run out, then you basically messed up, and then you have to wait a little, right?
Yep.
If you
The
don't
XP,
let it...
XP bar is at the top, by
Yeah.
the way.
Yeah, the very, very
You
top.
cannot see
You
it.
just can't
because-
see it because Jens Erik has no XP.
He's
Or
max level.
He's max level already.
Yeah, he's level
Yeah.
60. So the health bar, well, the health is a resource that you have to manage if you want to stay alive, obviously, but we have done changes to the way regeneration works. You do not regenerate naturally anymore.
Unless you have a particular perk.
Yes, so you can get a perk that allows you to get a small amount of regeneration. It is on vitality.
Like we've shown you this attributes screen already, but here it is in a more complete form, where with the perks at the side here. So for every 10 points you put into one of your attributes, you get a perk.
It's every sort of like the points cost more, right? So
Well, yeah,
it's-
sure, but every
yeah,
iteration of 10.
every iteration of 10 points. Yeah.
So, for example, reaching the first level of strength gives me the thuggery perk, which gives me more concussive damage with a truncheon.
Yes.
If I go one more, I can do more damage to enemies that are affected by certain status effects, as you can see. Yeah. With agility, I can take less stamina when I sprint. I can do a double jump if I have the max thing here. With vitality, I can get the health regeneration if I have 30 points.
Which we don't have right now.
Yes.
We are just short of getting it, just shy of it. So
Because we want to show how it works.
obviously, not having default or basic health generation drastically affects the way you approach situations in the game.
Yes.
And this is one of the reasons why we do it, right? We want you to go around, the world needs to feel dangerous, and you need to basically assess an encounter before you just barge in. Because if you get hurt too much, then you're going to be basically put on your back foot, right? You have to then find ways to heal. And we have added multiple ways to heal. One of them is food. If you eat any piece of cooked food, you will heal.
Like
you get a
this.
regeneration buff, and different types of food will give you more than
That was
others.
quick.
And we're still tweaking the amounts that you get from this. As you see, you get right now you get double buffs, and we're working on this. But that is true of every single piece of cooked, like processed food in the game. If you eat raw food, you will get indigestion or a chance to get food poisoning, right? So, but there is a perk that you can buy, which is that one on survival. The first perk there, that one makes it so you can just eat raw meat without getting food poisoning, which means you can heal with raw meat.
Yes.
Another way that you have to heal is just use healing potions. This is always been in the game. That's new. And the last way is using bandages, which is a new item that you can use to heal.
Yeah.
If you get interrupted while using bandages, then the healing stops.
Yes.
Right.
Some people mentioned being able to spam food, but the way that we've set up the system now disables that. If you eat a piece of food and you have a regeneration buff, and you eat another piece of food while that regeneration buff is running, all it does is reset the buff.
Yeah, it resets the duration of the buff.
But it does not give you additional healing.
Yeah.
They don't stack.
So
And for those of you asking, this is not live yet. We hope to push this to test live mid-February.
Yeah.
That is like the current plan, at least. That is what we're hoping on. And then, of course, players will be able to play around with it and try it out, basically.
So if you want to swing your sword around a bit, we can show the behavior of stamina.
All right.
Yeah, just swing your sword in the air. We can already see how this looks very different to the way it used to look.
There's no longer any hacking back and forth. I think Nicole disconnected, unfortunately. There she's back.
So basically, attacks have light chains. They have heavy chains. Light chains are on the left mouse click. Heavy chains are on the right mouse click. Can you just do a... Why is she teleporting?
I have no idea.
Okay. Can you just do just a straight out light chain, the 4 attacks?
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes.
You got a stamina cost, that's pretty cheap. It does okay damage. It's nothing to go like write home about. And it's the stuff you do when you just want to do damage.
I have no idea why she's...
I don't know why she's...
Tell Nicole to relog.
Yeah, maybe she should reconnect.
Nicole, relog, please.
Yeah.
Just to be on the safe side. We can still continue talking.
Yes. If you press the right mouse button, do for the 4 chain with the right mouse button, you get completely different attacks.
3.
They all have
4.
different properties. You see some of them have black trails, some of them have yellow trails. That's because they apply different kinds of status effects. They are much more expensive to use, and they do more damage. And if you use your stamina completely, just use up all your stamina. You can just jump around and attack the air. Go for it.
Run out of stamina.
Yeah, just run out of stamina.
You
could also do something that's new. You just sprint around a bit.
Yeah.
Just roll around.
Yeah, roll around.
Boom.
So now you're out of stamina, and you will not be able to use the stamina until it recovers completely.
Yeah.
Right? So this is basically the basic core change of weapon usage. Weapons now have combos. There's a light and a heavy combo. You can mix and match. Just mix and match the attacks. Just light, yeah, light, heavy, whatever. Just mix them however you want.
Those 2 lights.
There is
heavy,
no limitations
heavy,
whatsoever
light.
about which, like, an attack that changes into another or anything like that.
Yep.
The sword has 4 attacks in its combo. You can do whichever in any order.
Sweet.
Right. Something else that we have been working on as well is that you can now, if you want to sprint around with your sword, this now works. We basically, the reasons that we had for limiting your ability to sprint with weapons in your hands are now gone. They do not exist anymore. You cannot joust anymore because of the way the root motion works on the attacks.
Yep.
And there is already a very well-defined context for when you're in combat or not, as we will see with target locking. So there's no reason to limit people anymore with this. So we just removed it again.
Sweet.
So now you can run, if you want to equip your shield as well, just sprint around. This just works.
Yep.
That's it. There's no extra cost for having weapons, nothing. You can just sprint around.
As God intended.
Every weapon has their own sprint animations too.
Yes.
Yes, like 200 spears have a different sprint animation. 200 swords, which are
has a
new
different-
also, they're in the game now.
200 swords, which people have been asking about.
Yeah, different sprint. Everything has a different sprint animation.
Yep.
So yeah, we didn't just kind of unplug what we had. It never works that way anyways. We also made sure that every weapon looked unique while using this.
And the sprinting while having it equipped is for tools as well. So you can run with fiber bindings, you can run with your pickaxe, with your hatchets.
You can run
stuff.
with a truncheon and the rope bindings and hit NPCs and capture them and then drag them to your base while sprinting. It all works now.
Yeah. It should be mentioned, a lot of this stuff is still work in progress. There will be tweaking, there will be additional stuff that we need to do.
Yeah, like people are
based
commenting
on feedback.
People are commenting on the weapon trails. I mean, they're not finished yet.
Yes, there is
working on the weapon
this
trail system.
this isn't combat 2.0 1.0. This is work in progress of combat 2.0.
The weapon trails are heavily exaggerated right now because we are basically working on making sure the communication of what the attacks do is there, right? So that's why you get these heavy colors and stuff and really exaggerated trails. It's because right now it's more important to know that that's a cripple because he's got a yellow trail than to make the trail look pretty, right? So we will make them prettier.
Yes.
So that's it.
Yes.
Something else that has changed a little is dodge. What dodge allows you to do. You still get 3 different types of dodge depending on your armor. Heavy armor gets like a little sidestep, and light armor gets a very long roll.
We're wearing the medium armor, so we get a thing in
something
between.
in between.
Yeah.
So something that you can do now is you can dodge in the middle of your attack. So attack and then just dodge. You can cancel your attacks with dodge if you want. And since now all these attacks have root motion and they have a lot of movement, so it doesn't feel restrictive, but it's still root motion. So you would change your mind in the middle of a swing and you want to get out of a sticky situation, you just dodge. And dodge is kind of the universal tool to deal with nasty situations in combat.
Yes.
Dodge is pretty expensive stamina-wise, and you have to manage it, especially if you're using heavy armor. It's very expensive because heavy armor has a penalty on stamina, as it does now in the game.
Yes. As does encumbrance. If you're over encumbered, it's really important to notice how your stamina changes when you have high encumbrance, because it really affects how the game plays.
Yeah.
So you should, pay attention to that.
So something that's also very important about dodge is like if Nicole could try to attack you, like hit you a couple times with a sword, for example, you can dodge out of hit stun. Like get hit and just press dodge during the hit stun.
Boom.
It cancels absolutely everything. It will actually cancel even when you get knocked down, which is a new thing that we have as well.
Yep.
Even if you are on the floor, you can just dodge out of it.
Do a heavy sword combo, Nicole. All 4. Dodge.
Dodge.
I couldn't. Yeah.
Yeah, couldn't do it.
Dodge out of the knockback, basically.
Yeah, it's all right. So that's the intention here,
There we
right?
go.
Dodge
Nice.
is basically the universal tool for dealing with bad situations.
Sweet.
Okay. There's something else that we have done that is new, which is we added target lock.
Yes.
So you want to just target lock on Nicole? There you go.
Now I'm basically
Please again ignore
moving.
the GUI on this.
Yeah.
So this affects
Also a thing in work in progress.
Yeah.
yes. This affects completely your movement behavior. It basically you're now doing circles around this character.
Yeah.
All your attacks will auto aim to the character. And which basically means, well, you have auto aim, but you also lose the ability to kind of preemptively hit the position where the character is going to be, right?
Yeah.
So it's a balancing act. And that's basically it. Target lock also has a priority, so you pick the right target. It has like you can switch to different targets also if you want by using the mouse. In keyboard, the key binding for this is going to be Q, and on the gamepad you do it by just pressing the right thumbstick.
Yep.
So that's it. That's target locking. It's also completely new. We still have work to do here on, well, obviously the visuals of the bar and the reticle and everything around that, the HUD elements, but also on the camera behavior, which is a little bit too restrictive right now. So we're planning to do still more work on that.
I want to comment on something that was mentioned in chat. Nivius Next says that people have been dodging out of knockback since the game was released. And be that as it may, this stream is about the changes that we're doing to combat and some of the new stuff that we have added that is intentional. Like we didn't mean for players to be able to dodge out of knockback previously. We intend for that to be a thing now.
But it also didn't used to be the same knockback system. We've completely redone the knockback system.
Yeah, it's brand new. Also,
he also mentioned that we needed to have players here rather than us, because apparently players know the game better than we do. Again, we are giving you this stuff, a work in progress thing, in test live, so you guys can give us feedback on it, so we can then further tweak it and make it as good as possible, because this isn't anything without you guys helping us to make it a good thing.
Yeah, I mean it's fair enough, right, to say players know the game better than us. That's fine. Players don't know how to make the game better than us. There's a level of technical knowledge involved in creating systems and designs like this that I've never encountered players having unless they're actual game developers. So there is, I mean, that sort of attitude is fine. It just doesn't make any logical sense when you're trying to make actual games.
Yeah. And yes, we do get a bit salty about comments like that. I just wanted to call it out.
Our plan is to put this in front of you guys in test live as soon as we can.
Yeah.
And then we will be the whole point behind that is to actually collect this kind of feedback that you guys are talking about.
Yes.
Right. And then we will act on that feedback. That's it. The thing with knockback also is that something that might not be apparent at glance, or when you're not the one actually controlling the game right now, is that all normal hits have actual hit stun now. Just go and hit Nicole with a sword. You cannot move while you're getting hit by a sword. You cannot. You need to actually dodge to get out of that.
Yeah.
Because if we didn't have hit stun on those attacks, then we wouldn't have combos. The whole concept of combo requires that the first attack you do allows you to land the second attack as well, right? That means you have hit stun now. So this whole system is completely brand new. It's very different to what we had, which was purely, hey, we want to show that you got hit.
Yeah.
That's also there, and it's very important, but that's just the tip of the iceberg, right?
Something that someone also pointed out is that since I can sort of use this to find players, basically. Like if someone's hiding in a bush, for example, I can just walk around and spam the target.
To some extent, because if there's some objects that actually will break line of sight.
Right.
Like walls, for example.
Yeah.
I believe those columns might also break line of sight. Just try working behind the column.
Yep. There we
you go. right? So well, it makes sense, right? Bushes will not, but these things will do.
And it's 20 meters max range.
Yeah, 20 meters is the acquisition range right now.
So it's not super far as well. It's not like you'll be able to pick people up 200 meters away, right?
Yeah.
And figure out where they are.
So if someone outruns you, then they break the target lock.
Yes, exactly.
So we've shown the sword stuff. Sword is basically a pretty straightforward kind of cleavy weapon, but the cleave angles are not very big. And then it has on the right clicks, it has this kind of dash forwards. It's almost like a skill shot because you need to aim to land this unless you have target lock, right? And then the last two hits have a cripple. And the last heavy has an actual knockdown, right? So that's the sword.
Yeah.
It's a pretty kind of, I would say, standard weapon is the go-to for a lot of people in this that we have done.
Yeah.
Then you have other one-handed weapons, like for example, you have the mace. Number 8.
I have the mace on
You switch
8.
to the mace. Just do a light chain on the mace. It is entirely different. It has completely different properties. The heavy it has a completely brand new mechanic, which is these purple trails. That mechanic will make it so when you hit a shield and the person is blocking, you do not get bounced back from the shield. Right?
Let's try it. Heavy attack.
So we can demonstrate this a bit better, I think, later with the NPCs that we're going to be fighting, right? So the idea here is the mace is entirely different to the sword. You will use it in completely different situations. The mace attacks are slower than the sword ones, so that's a problem, right? But they have the property to you can just ignore the other person's shield.
Yep.
And the heavy finisher will actually hit through the shield. It does more than just ignoring the block confirm, right?
Yeah.
You actually hit through the shield. So if you're fighting someone that you know has a shield, you would want to use a one-handed mace.
Sure.
Or not. Maybe you are skillful enough that you can hit them from behind all the time.
Yeah, you
with a
can
sword, right?
dodge
That's up
around.
to you.
You can dodge around them, for example,
Yes.
and then hit them from the back, for example.
Yes. We also have one-handed axes, which are kind of like a hybrid between the sword and the one-handed mace. Right.
Switch this out.
And they also have different animations. So yeah, they're doing like light into heavy there, and they have like a jump at the heavy finisher, which the mace doesn't do.
And this
But
also thunders. This also goes through weapons.
It will,
shields.
It will ignore the block confirmed from shields, yes. Then we have a lot of changes on the two-handed weapons as well. Like if you switch to the spear, for example.
I can switch to the spear.
The spear has a completely brand new set of animations.
We will get to bows, by the way. A lot of people are asking about bows. We will get to them. We have a set list that we're running through, so we will get to the bows eventually.
Yes. So the spear.
And Nicole should probably heal herself pretty soon.
She's pretty hurt.
You also. You haven't shown the hidden feature, the one that I've been asking for since the day we started on this.
Which one?
Push control.
Oh, this thing?
Yeah.
I was getting there.
The kick.
Go back to spear. I was getting there.
All right, spear, then kick.
So a spear is a two-handed weapon, which means you cannot use a shield. So you need to be a bit more careful with your offense.
Yes.
Right? Because there's no way for you to defend but dodging, right? And every two-handed weapon allows you to kick. And kick is an attack that will hit through shields.
Right.
Kicks completely ignore shields. They don't care about blocking. So it's a tool that you have when fighting someone with a shield to open them up, right? Also, the spear combos are pretty cool. As saying the heavy attacks are like thrust attacks, and the finisher applies a bleed. Yeah, that's the light finisher. The light finisher actually knocks down.
Yeah,
the heavy finisher applies a bleed.
The light one sweeps legs.
Yeah, that's a bleed.
Okay, let me see if I can.
Get some stamina.
Boom! There we go.
Boom.
And
so
then I ran out of
you can
stamina.
see how the knockdown works. You can get out of that once you are on the floor. You can get out of that with the dodge.
Yep.
If you switch to two-handed sword, for example, it's another two-handed weapon.
200 swords.
Which also has, this is new. I don't think people have seen this before.
Yeah, no, we've shown some screenshots. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. So
I like the stance. It's a very wide, like.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, running with it's cool. Running with it is very Conan.
Yeah.
So the two-handed sword has a lot of like cleavy, very wide sweeps. It's a very slow weapon, but it hits really hard.
Yeah.
And it also has a kind of like a mix of properties on the heavies. This is what I would call probably like our technical two-hander.
Yeah.
the same way that the axe is the technical one-hander, because it does a little bit of cripple and a little bit of sunder, right?
Yes.
So this one also, you can do the chains. That's the light chain. That's the heavy third. Yeah, just do the light only and then the heavies.
Boom.
Be careful because you might kill her.
I think you might need to heal again, Nicole.
You can just do it in the air. Just don't hit her for now.
See the injured animation, by the way? She stops moving for a sec.
Yeah, she holds her stomach when she's wounded.
We changed that too. Yeah, that's you look like that now when you're hurt. We changed the pose for the idle stance. Yeah. So that's the heavy chain. Yellow trace I'll cripple, and that last trail with the jump attack is a shield smash. It will basically not punish you if you hit someone with a shield. Yeah. Right.
Honestly, I think I just really love some of the combat animations. It's just so good.
That long recovery that you saw, can you just do a light chain and just wait at the end, don't press any button?
Okay.
You
1,
see
2, 3.
Just don't
4.
do anything now. See, there's a very long recovery animation there. You can cancel that, but not all of it, right? The finishers have a little bit more recovery than the normal swings.
And then I can just
you can cancel it with dodge always, but you can also just cancel it with just moving. You hold forwards and you will move as soon as you can, and you don't have to wait the whole time. But if you do, because you're done or whatever, then it, at least it looks pretty. Right?
Sweet. And then of course, like since I'm not carrying a shield, I can also do a kick.
Yeah. Another thing that you can do is if you have a one-handed weapon only, like the one-handed sword, and you don't have anything in your offhand, you can also kick.
Yes. So whenever I don't have anything in my offhand, or I'm carrying a two-handed weapon, it's all kicking.
So and you kick with the block button. So basically, what we have done here is we morph the function of the block button depending on if you have a shield or not.
Yeah.
If you have a throwing axe, you will actually throw the throwing axe with the block button. You cannot kick, but you can do that. If you're unarmed, you can remove the sword now, just do the punches.
Yeah. Kicks also push people back. Like she gets a knockback.
And they do also go through shields, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, all kicks go through shield. That's the purpose of kicks.
But there's no plans for drop kicking, as far as I know. But yeah, center mass.
I tried to get us to add Dark Messiah knockback to it, but it was just a bit too powerful. And then PvP just became kick.
Right.
Yeah, so, it is very strong right now. Again, we're tweaking all these things, but we're basically gonna put it in front of you guys so we can tweak it together.
We're also getting to the double daggers in number 7, so we're gonna get.
Yeah, we'll get to them. So we have an arm combat. That's like this chains is there are 3 attacks. The first and the second they are double hits, so it looks like there's actually 5 attacks, but it's only 3. And you have light and heavy chains also. They don't really do a lot of damage. This is more like a roleplay tool. You're gonna do like drunken brawling or whatever. Yeah. That's it. You can also use
long-awaited feature.
Yeah, you can use it at the beginning of the game. They're pretty effective at the beginning of the game when you don't have weapons yet.
Yeah.
And you can kick with them as well, obviously, because you don't have anything in your offhand, as we discussed, right?
I'm gonna make it noon again. For some reason, it won't freeze the sky. For some reason, I've seen a YouTube video where there's a guy. I think he's like at a dance festival. And he dances basically like like that.
Oh, nice.
So I was wondering if maybe they actually saw the same YouTube video and took some inspiration from that thing.
There's a lot of like combat moves and aggression and stuff in hip hop dancing as well.
Yeah. People are asking.
Really cool. I love it.
People are asking about parrying. There will not be parrying with weapons. Like we've never had that, and we've never intended to have that, as far as I know. It's all blocking with a shield, or like kicking them, or just like interrupting their attacks with your attacks.
Yes, blocking is basically how parry works in this game. We consider doing blocking with two-handers. We actually had that at some point. It didn't work very well, and we just, instead of doing that, we gave you an offensive tool, which makes more sense for two-handers, which is the kick.
Well, and parrying is very difficult. Again, we've talked about. I know I've ranted about this at length on the stream. It's technically very difficult to get right on multiplayer.
Yes,
extremely difficult to do well.
Yeah.
And people say, but what about these other games that do it in multiplayer? And you say, yes, I said, well, I've played those games.
Well is a relative term, and we're not going to get into that right now.
We can switch to the daggers and talk about status effects if you want.
Okay.
Since daggers is the main way
switch to the daggers.
Apply one of them, which is bleed. So dagger, that's the light chain for the dagger. Those are heavy attacks. And
boom.
Those heavy attacks with the red trails, which is all of them except for the first one, apply a stack of bleed with each hit. And bleed does damage over time.
I mean, Nicole can do it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes,
Nicole,
you can do it to you.
heavy attacks. There we go.
And then you get the bleeding stacking
Yes.
up here.
So you will get.
I also got crippled.
Yeah, the finisher also cripples.
Right.
It's a dagger into your kidney that should cripple you.
Yeah.
And the light attacks have a lot of dash movement. They actually have a lot of like forwards momentum, and the heavies do not. But the heavies are basically the heavy hitters.
Right.
Dagger hits don't really do a ton of damage compared with other weapons. They're still okay.
Yeah.
The bleed stacks is what you're playing for with this.
Yes.
So your strategy with daggers is basically to go in, do a whole chain for bleeds, get out, and then do that again, right?
Right.
And to get out, when you're using dual daggers, your block button actually gives you a backflip, as you can.
Woo!
That's what you get when you use block with daggers.
Block kick. Yeah.
Yeah, this is very similar to dodge, very similar, except it is always the same regardless of your armor. So even if you have heavy armor, you can still use daggers and feel nimble and agile because you can use the block roll instead of the actual dodge roll. Right?
And it moves you back a lot more than the roll.
Yes,
does.
the distance is very long. It doesn't have iframes like dodge though. So
Okay.
you need to be careful with that.
Can
But
I be
but it
interrupted
does-
if I do the backflip?
No, it does have hyper armor, which is a concept that we haven't talked about yet. But
Right.
you cannot be interrupted in the middle of the roll, but you can get hit and you will take damage.
Yeah.
Unlike dodge, where dodge actually has iframes.
Yeah.
And the length of the amount of iframes depends on the armor you're wearing.
Someone said we should add like an assassin's armor. I just want to, in case you missed it, we have that already. So basically, you can look like this.
Good muscle tone.
Oh yeah.
Well done, Jens Erik.
So that's bleed. Is what daggers are really all about.
And the vanity cam is rotating for.
Get in,
some reason.
apply bleed stacks, get out, and then continue doing that without letting the stacks drop, because bleed does exponentially more damage the more stacks you have.
Yeah.
Getting 5 stacks of
away.
bleed does much more damage than getting 4 stacks of bleed. Much more. There's also cripple. We already saw cripple. They're the yellow trails. One-handed swords have cripple on.
Cripple slows you down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cripple, when it applies, it stacks 5 times. Every stack is 10% slowdown, snare. And it caps at 5, so you can only ever get 50%.
Yeah.
I mean, a good working strategy is to use your sword to kind of lock your enemy in place by applying 5 stacks of cripple and then switch to something that's harder to land and does more damage.
Right.
Or just continue using the sword and limit your enemy's options to run away, for example. So you're dealing with someone that really likes to run away, you can just use the sword to cripple them. You can also throw a spear at them and hit their legs, and that will also cripple them.
Nicole, you want to throw a javelin at my legs? Yes, she does. Boom.
So now you're crippled,
Yeah,
and you
and
have a javelin going through your leg.
And I have a giant spear in my leg. That's going to be a problem.
Yeah, so we've done a lot of work also, like making sure that this at least happens, right? It looks silly sometimes, but whatever. And arrows also do this. They can stick to your arms and to your legs. They disappear, I think it's 10 seconds after.
If
You
you
can pick up arrows now if you miss.
Yes, you can pick up arrows from the floor, and also, if you miss, you can actually pick up javelins from the floor as well. So you can recover your javelins.
And then
Did
I
you
can
hit-
throw a javelin at Nicole,
Yes,
and she gets one in her arm.
yes.
You should
So-
you should show the combos on javelins too, because they also have first person.
Yeah, javelin has a pretty basic, it's just a 3-hit combo like this, but it's actually really effective. Lots of forwards, momentum, right?
Yep.
You already have a clear line of attack, then you can use this one. And then you have an option if the enemy tries to run away.
Yeah.
You just cripple them, right?
People are asking about the harvesting tools, if they will have like combat animations or if they will have the standard animations that they have right now.
They have new animations. Harvesting tools do not have combat stuff, with one exception. But they do have like short, kind of little variation. They're not combos, it's like 1-2, right?
Yeah.
The one exception is the truncheon. Truncheon is basically a one-handed mace without a finisher.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like capped compared with what you can do with a mace. And truncheons are basically useless. If you want to kill people, you use them to stun them so that you can then capture them to turn them into throws.
Yep.
So we also have now skinning knives and butcher cleavers, which have unique, completely brand new animations. I don't know, maybe you want to show those. Yeah.
So skinning knives aren't in the live version yet. but they will be, and they're basically like these tiny daggers that when you use them on an animal, you just do a skinning
Do
animation.
it on that corpse.
Like for example, on this corpse, that's the kick.
Oh, yes. Yeah, there you
Just
go.
do a
It's
thing
like
that,
it's like a carve animation.
Yeah. You guaranteed get hide when you do that.
Yes, and then butcher cleavers are basically the same thing, except it's for getting meat.
Yeah, and then the
I think
sickle
meat,
for
I think it's meat and bones. I might be wrong about the bones.
and then there's the sickle for
Plant fiber.
Plant fiber.
For plant
yes.
fiber, sickle is basically a swipe weapon that you can basically cleave 20 bushes and get plant fiber from all of them at the same time.
Yeah,
Those, as you see, they do not have combat animations. Skinning knives are not combat daggers. All combat daggers are always dual daggers, and they all dual wield. And skinning knives are just a tool.
yeah.
Right.
Correct.
What else? Bows. Maybe you want to show bows, or maybe.
We do want to show bows.
So bows have gone through some changes as well. Right now, what you can do with a bow is you have a quick shot and you have. Oh, you're healing, yeah.
Yeah.
You have a quick shot, which is with the left click, and it just shoots quickly.
Like that. Boom.
Yeah. And then you have a power shot, which is with the right click, which takes its time. You can still rotate throughout the whole time, and then it shoots, and it does a lot more damage, but it also costs more stamina.
Yeah.
We are still working on the bow. We're still considering if we should support auto like aiming or iron sight mode or power like actually holding the button down or whatever, but this is what we have right now.
Quick shot.
Yeah, you can lock on enemies and it will auto aim the shooting, but the arrow flies in a straight line. It does not track.
So if they dodge,
So if she moves or rolls out of the way,
You can
then
dodge out of it, or you can just, if the enemy is really far, then you can also just kind of like
does Nicole
bounce.
have the ricochet perk? 'Cause
Probably.
I see the arrows are bouncing off you, which is one of the new
I mean, if
perks.
she tries shooting on the floor, then we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If,
so
yep.
she has the ricochet perk. That's one of the perks. You can show it in the attributes window if you want. It's on
for,
accuracy.
Accuracy, that's right.
Yeah, and it is trick shot.
I'm gonna
You can ricochet. Yeah.
let's do it. Boom, 20 trick shot. So whenever I fire,
If the
It will
angle,
bounce off.
if the angle is right,
Yeah.
If it's too steep of an angle, it won't bounce. It will just stick to the surface.
but I can, for example, bounce
Stand at the
bounce
floor.
off
You
this
can
pillar.
probably, yeah, if
Boom.
you will with practice be able to do that. So that's the thing with bows. Crossbows do not exist in this build. Crossbows had a lot of technical problems. There was a lot of desync issues with crossbows. They have a completely different way on the way they reload. You need to basically keep track of if there's a bolt on the crossbow or not. That's different to the way the bow works, where you would only like knock an arrow on the bow when you're actually going to shoot, right? So they were giving us more problems that we could handle for this release. So we decided to just remove them.
Yeah.
We will see. We're going to try to put them back in once we fix them, but we're not going to put them back in until we fix them.
So
But bows still work, and bows have worked better than before.
For now,
so-
crossbows are cut.
crossbows are cut for now. Yes, and then there are bows still. There will be more bows in for launch. We have a lot of them. I think a lot of them are already done. So there will be more of that stuff.
All bows
eventually.
are done for launch, I think.
yeah, I believe so.
And then if I shoot her in the leg, for example,
You get cripple.
I cripple her.
Yeah,
and if
so we
Nicole
also
does
did
the same
before.
to me, shoot me in the leg, and I'm crippled, and then I can't run away.
There's also a perk that you can get.
You can run away, you're just slower.
Yeah.
Cripple is pretty short duration. It's something just supposed to kind of maintain. You need to keep the pressure, right?
Yes.
But it will help slow down people that just try to run away all the time.
There is a perk as well that makes every shot you do cripple.
Yes. Every shot, regardless of where you hit. But
Yes.
yeah.
Here it is, attributes.
Yeah.
And I showed them like 2 seconds of the new feats window.
Every shot.
Yeah, every shot with the bow will cripple your enemies.
Yes. So, all right. So we're talking about cripple. Let's talk about Sunder now.
Thunder.
The
Hammer.
two-handed hammer is the Sunder weapon. I think you.
All right.
There you go.
Here it is.
So two-handed hammers have a cleave on the lights. Just do the light chain.
Boom, boom.
The last light is a whirlwind attack that does knockdown.
But it leaves you open because it's a fairly slow.
It has a pretty long recovery.
Yeah.
All finishers do, but
Two-handers are.
and the knockdown on this weapon is pretty strong, and
Yeah.
it's basically 360 knockdown around you, right? And then the cool thing about hammers is, or the coolest thing is, on the right clicks you get these,
Knockups.
you get these kind of delays. You see how there's a longer delay after the swing?
Yeah,
That's because you are pressing the button slowly, right? So just do it as quickly as you can. That's as quickly as the heavies go for the hammer.
Yeah.
Now do it as slowly as you can. So you can wait. Just way more. Yeah, don't be shy. Just way more. There
Jesus.
You lure people in.
Yeah.
Yes.
Essentially.
It's a bait.
It's a bait
Yes,
mechanic.
and all heavy attacks from the hammer have hyper armor, which means you cannot be interrupted during the attack.
Yeah.
So you can use this as a tool to either bait people, or tease them, or control a space, or punish them if they overextend, and basically create false openings,
Yeah.
frame traps, if you want to call it that way, to get people to attack you and put themselves in a bad position, because then you press the heavy button and you do an attack that will hit them. Your attack is not going to get interrupted, and these attacks also apply Sunder,
Yeah.
which is a status effect you don't want to have. Sunder stacks up to 5, and it makes your armor useless. Basically, it reduces the effectiveness of your armor. It is up to a 50% impact. It's basically a stackable armor penetration that you can apply to people.
Yeah.
So you don't want to get 5 stacks of Sunder, especially if you're using heavy armor as the way you approach combat. So getting hit by these heavy attacks is extremely punishing, right?
Yeah.
Also, as you showed this before, the heavy finisher launches people up in the air.
Yes. Someone asked if I have to click or if I can just hold down the button. I have to do
You have to click.
a click for each attack. I can't just like see now I'm holding it down and nothing's happening.
Yeah.
Let it go. See,
And
you
that's
have
basically
to-
the length. That's the window that you have to press it.
Yeah.
When the character starts moving back again, it's too late.
Yeah.
Now you cannot chain anymore.
So for Sunder, what's the people are asking about duration? Like how long does it last?
I believe Sunder right now is 10 seconds and it stacks 5 times.
Wow.
And every time you get a stack, it resets the duration.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So 10 seconds is not really a lot in the grand scheme of things, especially when you're hitting them with the hammer.
Yeah.
But you can also apply Sunder and then switch to the sword, for example.
Yeah.
Right. And the finisher on the hammer also has a continuation attack.
Oh.
So,
We appear to have lost our connection to the server. We're just gonna hopefully be able to get back in real quick.
Yeah.
Probably may have
we
crashed a
took
bit.
the server down.
Oh well, that happened. Okay, people in chat are asking, what about if your server is a bit laggy, or if your connection is a bit bad? Like, how will the new combat system handle that kind of stuff?
The hit detection happens the way it used to happen. So we haven't really changed anything on the tech that runs that.
Yeah.
You will not have more issues with the new system, in theory. Technically, at least, the way it works. There's no real difference between the way we do it now.
Always tested with forced 150 milliseconds.
Yes,
lag,
we test
right?
under lag conditions, and it works as well as it can possibly work, right? Lag is obviously always going to have an impact on these things, but the attacks they're pretty slow in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
You don't have any like 3-frame jobs or anything like that, right? There's no the system itself, because of the way the animations look and how long they take, it's not very prone to having issues with lag, right?
Okay.
The sync issues, we had a ton of our big share of the sync problems to deal with,
Right.
which we have fixed. That was part of our development, right? And we should be okay now, but we'll have to see, I guess. When put under heavier stress, then you have the same problems that you find in life now.
Sure.
It's very difficult to keep up in situations like that, but
Right.
again, it shouldn't be worse than what we had before.
Okay.
So
It looks like we are unable to restart the server, so I need to.
Was it one of our internal servers?
Yes, it was one of our
Yeah,
internal
okay.
servers. I need to do some stuff.
What's about we go out and find out that someone took it down because they were needing to test something?
they need to plug the coffee
Yeah, I
machine.
needed to test something, man. So I just took down that server.
I don't think that will ever happen.
No, that's never happened.
Right.
I think we cover all the status effects anyways. We can show the launch thing. I think it's in the trailer. No, that's the trailer one is the sword one. Basically, you can launch people out with the hammer, and you press the button again when you're in the air.
Right.
You hit them again in the air with a slam down, and they get thrown away even harder, basically. So that's it.
Let's see. We're gonna try something. Okay, someone asked if there will be a server wipe when we roll out the new combat system, because if this is is this just gonna slot right in, or do people need to?
We're gonna do a server wipe for launch.
Yes,
I'm not
for
sure
launch,
we need to do one
that one's for sure.
I think we want feedback on the combat system for both high and low level players, so I'm not sure we'll do a server wipe. And
Right.
maybe, but
Just,
I think it's good to see how it affects like the raiding guilds and things like that as well, and see how people react to it. There's a lot of it's not just combat in this build that we're going to roll out.
Yeah,
there's going to be a lot of other stuff.
We're talking about combat alone, but the game has
this stream is focusing on combat, but there's a lot of changes in the game.
A lot of stuff on the back end, a lot of stuff on like basically that are like just new content and new stuff,
new features and things that people have been asking for a long time.
Yes. One thing that's been asked a bunch of times in chat already is about poisoning daggers. If that will still be a thing, or if this will.
Poisoning daggers is still a thing. You can poison anything, not just daggers. Daggers already do some of that by doing the bleed. I guess you can just kind of double up on that and go for the ultimate kind of skirmish weapon. Just go in, apply dots and leave, right? We're not planning on changing anything with the way poisoning weapons works in general. Poison is a status effect that it already exists in the game. It is very similar to bleed. It just uses different values for the amount of damage it does, and they stack together. You can be poisoned and bleeding at the same time. So yeah.
All right, I think we are good to go again. I just need to.
Yes, I can see. Can I answer this one quickly?
Yes.
IKCast says that if we can nerf some weapon because it does too much damage and it has too much armor penetration. Yeah. We are looking at the numbers on
we're
this.
redoing all the weapons.
There's a lot of weapons that do way too much armor penetration. It makes them ridiculously powerful. Also, they do more damage than they should. The answer then is yes, we are looking at the numbers and we are rebalancing them all.
Yeah.
Look, quick loot window.
Yes. That is also something that we have.
Yes.
Okay, so I've jumped back in, but I've jumped back in on a single player server. So unfortunately, we won't be able to do some PvPing. I'm sorry about that, but
I think we're pretty much done with that. We were gonna go fight some NPCs anyways.
Yeah. All right, I'm just gonna grab some of these weapons. Let's just do one of each because why not?
You don't need 3 different maces. You're fine.
I'm gonna get me a helmet. I'm gonna drop this because I don't need it.
Yeah.
I'm also gonna
take some food, dude.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna.
That's one of the big changes there. Like we have a lot of food types in the game, but not that much. They haven't been as useful as they should probably have been.
Yeah.
So adding the change to the functionality of regeneration means that people will actually have a good reason to become chefs in Hyboria.
Yeah. I'm gonna add the hammer. I think I'm gonna add the javelin and.
Go on. You know you want to.
Yeah, I want, but I do also want a shield. So I think I'm going to remove.
You definitely want the shield.
Oh yes.
Let's see, gear, iron. There we go. Iron targe, a couple of those. All right, let's go.
So we're gonna go fight. We're gonna go pick up a fight somewhere.
We are going to go pick a fight.
Christian soldiers marching as to.
You go through the lake. You swim on the lake.
Yes. Another change that we've done.
Oh, swimming.
Which has been mentioned. I think I'm just going to turn off
people were
eating as well, so I don't suddenly get hungry.
People are like, why are you doing that instead of this other thing?
Yeah.
Same people don't work on the same things.
So we changed swimming. Basically now you are connected to the surface of the water when you get in the water, and then you just hit the crouch button to start going down, and then there's normal, well, not normal, quote unquote. Then it's just swimming controls.
Weapons don't work underwater.
Yeah.
With the one exception, which is the one-handed spear. Yes. It is the only weapon that has underwater attacks. Yeah, you need to be diving for it.
I am diving.
So you attack with just attack.
Like that.
This is the only weapon that gets an underwater attack. It's not gonna go very far underwater.
I can't pick it up. It's stuck in the ground.
So that's it. All the other weapons will not work underwater.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. Some of the harvesting tools will, because you might kill something and then it kind of ragdolls rolls into the water or something, and then you can still.
I am not a particularly high level, so I'm going to set my level to 50 because I can do that. I'm going to add more strength stuff. I'm just going to do this, basically.
You're gonna have to choose between vitality and grit, I think.
Let's see.
I would go for vitality.
29.
Just get a little bit of grit. A little bit of grit. Yeah.
You're gonna want some grit.
Yeah. So you can roll a bit more.
There. And then encumbrance.
Oh, that's a good idea.
10.
You can have everything.
I fucked up. I messed up.
It's alright.
But like we will roll out Warpaint eventually, which lets you get, I think it's like 3 extra points in a chosen attribute, and that also helps you
Warpaint
unlock
you,
the perks.
Yeah.
So for example, if you have 27 vitality and then add the vitality Warpaint, you get an additional 3 points, which then unlocks the passive health regeneration.
Yeah. I believe armor enchants,
mods as
armor
well.
reinforcements, I think is the name. They also have that.
I'm gonna heal up. Is
Yeah, we don't do enchanted armor in Hard Warrior. We only do modified armor.
yes.
It's charming though.
So the attributes menu, it's not live yet, but it's hopefully gonna roll out very
You
soon.
could show actually the stats menu.
This thing?
This is a lot of placeholder art on this one.
Yeah, don't worry about this visually, but this is a point just where you can go to reference all the things. This is where you can see changes.
Yeah.
You know, adding perks, adding stats, changing weapons, changing armor.
Yeah.
This
A
is
lot
just
of
basically
this
an
information.
page.
Yeah, it wasn't visible before, or it was kind of all over the place in different tooltips and stuff. So there's it's all aggregated here now.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's go.
I know just the place.
Have you picked out a place?
Oh yeah. We're going to Freya's Hovel,
Ah,
which is just up the
I
hill.
remember naming Freya's Hovel.
Mm-hmm.
Is Freya there still?
I don't think so. Maybe there are people there. Right. Let's see. I'm going to take a question from the chat. At release, many new players will come to try and see. Are you going to make it so they have an easy way to understand and how to find, reach modded servers? Like this is something people have been asking us questions about for a while. I think we've said that we want to make it easier, but right now it's not.
We actually have it in our roadmap as best effort, which means that it is depending on the critical bugs we have left in the game when and how things are going closer to launch. It will depend. So it's on our best effort list.
Right.
Which means basically it might happen that when you try to join a server that has mods, it will auto download the mods, etc. That is one of the things that we are trying to set up, but it's just time, and some of the people who need to work on that also need to work on critical bug fixes.
Yeah.
So that's where they're focused right now.
So it is a if we're able to do it.
We'd love to have it.
Yeah.
And we certainly wouldn't not do it on purpose. We'll run out of time if we can't do it. That's
Okay, so I've fought these guys before, and even with level 50, I'm just gonna come out right and say it. I will probably get wrecked at this point,
We have done.
and I'm going to make sure that the server settings don't like make me drop everything when I. There we go.
You're saying you're gonna die here?
He's coming. For
I am
you.
probably gonna die here.
He's coming for you. NPCs use combos.
Yes.
We've done significant work on the AI on these guys. So
Not only they use combos. I mean, some NPCs will just use random attacks. Some NPCs will actually have predefined combo chains that they will try to do to you.
yes,
Especially the more advanced guys, where you should have already kind of learned what different weapons do, and they will try to use the weapons to the best of their abilities, right? So a guy with daggers is gonna try to put blitz attacks on you.
dude.
And
Oof,
and besides
dying.
that, we also
I'm dying. I'm gonna die.
Yes, you will die.
Don't
Block.
reverse towards the
Yes,
other
block.
guy. Block.
No, I should have done that.
Wow.
All right.
So besides that, some of the AI behaviors that we have now, NPCs will actually try to bait you, either using two-handed hammers.
Yes.
They will do an attack and then they will hold.
I'm just gonna
The next
cheat
attack.
a bit and
Sure.
teleport.
They will hold back the next
People can
attack.
see the loading screen.
Oh yeah, we have a new loading screen, and it's the thing you see in it is a secret. People are gonna screen cap this thing anyway.
Doesn't matter.
But
Secret.
all right.
Secret.
round 2.
That
Nice
started
start.
well. Come on, dude. Okay.
I swear I trained for this. I prepared. I swear.
This is why I'm not allowed to play anymore, because I died too much on the streams.
Roll more.
I'm rolling. I'm
more.
rolling. I'm rolling. Die. There we
you
go.
Nice.
I'm almost dead, but I did it.
But see, that's what's cool about this. Now you're in the situation where you need to make a decision.
Yeah.
If you had the survivor perk, you could harvest his body for human flesh and eat it.
I could do
to
that.
get health back.
I could do that, but since
luckily you brought
I have healing wraps.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I'm gonna try to fight the
Archers are
last
pretty
one.
nasty now too. I don't know if there's an archer in Freya's Hollow.
I don't think so. Sometimes there are. Sometimes it's just a woman.
There has
or a man.
we have done a lot of work on AI in general. Not only they move smoother now, they turn much smoother down, and we're still working on it. It's gonna be even better than this.
Damn,
they also
whack that dude with the javelin.
Yeah, they can use their weapons and tools to attack you. They will try to do combos.
He just has
try to use them in a smart way.
He just has a repair hammer, so he's.
Yeah. I think
I'm still taking damage. I'm still like at half damage.
That was abusive.
Froze his head.
I cut his head off with the javelin.
Yeah.
Nicely
Go
done.
and fight a dude with a two-handed hammer or with a bow. You'll see.
No, I don't want to. I'm not sure if I want to do that. Like,
that's it.
Sometimes the guy with the spear appears with a hammer, so
they will change. They will switch weapons depending on the range.
Yeah.
A guy might actually have a spear and a hammer, and depending on the situation, might choose to use one or the other. All the archers, I believe, have backup weapons. So if you get too close to the archer, it choose to either try to backpedal and kite you, or actually switch to its melee weapon and use it against you.
I should mention that the reason they don't have the nameplate is because I turned it off in the settings. It's just so it won't be all messy and stuff. But I swear they were level 3 NPCs.
We didn't mention anything about the health bars also, but you get a health bar when you lock on someone, but you also get a health bar when you hurt anybody.
Yes. You don't have to... We should explain the targeting system outside of lock-on.
Right.
Because there is a slight amount of auto aiming as well, right?
I'm just going to spawn in.
Basically, if you're not engaging in any direction when you press the attack button, the game will auto aim to the closest enemy. And there's rules for what is the closest. It's not just the closest, it also depends on your facing and stuff. But if you are engaging a direction, the game will attack in that direction. Right. This is a bit... it's not so intuitive on PC because you only have 4 buttons for direction, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But on gamepads, it just feels much better.
Yes.
So
you can. We actually added. You see the arrows flying off as they hit they're breaking basically. The arrows that break because they have a chance to break.
Yeah, they shatter.
They shatter. That's half the arrow flying towards the camera.
Yeah. Basically, the arrow cannot stick to the shield for whatever reason, because the angle of incidence, or because it's just
nice.
It's just a random element to it.
That felt really good because he will usually pull out a sword.
Yeah.
I'm telling you guys at home, but since I was able to stun lock him, I could finish him pretty quickly. And also, he was a fairly low level because he's a black hand, and they stay down in the desert.
You're much stronger than them.
Yes, that too. I'm also gonna make it noon again. There we go. Better lighting.
I think we cover all the kind of mechanical core changes that we did. So we went over the movement styles. There's also gamepad movement style. I don't know if you showed that.
Yeah,
actually.
we didn't show that.
We don't have a gamepad.
So you can switch it in the... I mean, if you just prefer to play that way, even if you're using a keyboard and a mouse, you can just change that.
Gamepad style movement.
Yes.
Okay. You can also set it to always attack towards camera.
Yes, which completely ignores the auto-aim mechanism. For people that are crying foul about auto-aim, I mean, you can choose to not use it, but... Yeah.
So now I'm not sidestepping.
Yeah, so that's how it works on a gamepad.
This is how Witcher 3 does movement, right? Yeah. They use the control style movement even with mouse and keyboard.
Yeah. And then whenever I attack, it immediately goes to where my camera is pointing.
Yes.
Yes. If you don't have that selected, or you just let the game choose for you, then if you're using keyboard and mouse, you face with the mouse, and A and D are strafe.
Yeah.
But if you play with a gamepad, then A and D means walk towards the left or walk towards the right.
Exactly.
Right?
So yeah, it's and all of these options are there because A, we like to give people options, but B, because it allows people to tailor the game to their skill style, the way that they play.
Let's try it. Oh, there he is. Yeah.
A guy in his underpants is going to kill you.
You're wearing the armor of a Sumerian, boy. Start acting like it.
There we go. Two swings. Boom. Against the guy in his underwear. I swear I practiced.
Nice. We have done some improvements on the monsters side of things as well. We still have a lot of ground to cover there.
Yep.
But monsters can now also have hyper armor in their attacks, and they can have other little kind of nuanced properties that we have added to combat. Like for example, if you are pushing against an enemy when you do your attack, root motion actually deactivates.
Right.
So you don't run through someone, right?
For
Which
those
means-
of us who don't understand,
root motion.
what is root motion?
Yeah. Root motion is just swing your sword.
Okay.
Swing your sword.
Boom.
It moves you forwards.
Right.
Your character is actually moving with the attack. It doesn't look like he's moving forwards and then he takes a step back. It is actually moving your character in the world.
Okay.
That's what we call root motion.
So the animation has the power to move your character forward.
Yes.
Right.
Hence
And that
the-
includes
hence
like
the root has motion.
oh, and that
character.
includes like hitboxes and all that kind of stuff.
Everything,
So for example,
absolutely everything.
So for example, this like when I do this swing and it would pull me forward, it doesn't put me through the wall, for example.
So root motion does not put you through walls, but even though it moves you forwards, like do it in the air.
I'm just gonna.
You might want to change those settings.
Yeah, that one has a lot of root motion for us. It's a dash, right?
Yeah.
So what we have done also is if you're doing that against a wall, but also against an NPC, it will actually become sticky.
Right.
It will stop when it detects that it has touched the NPC.
Right.
And it will stop trying to push forwards.
Go fight that
right?
bear.
There's a bear. Yeah, there's a bear.
So we've done
Hello, bear.
this to some monster attacks as well, and we plan to do it to all the charges, for example. Having the ability to change this during an attack will allow us to make charge attacks, for example, for hyenas or the monsters much better. Don't get hit
Boom.
by that. Yeah.
I'm gonna fight
You
this
don't
bear.
want to get hit by that.
So can I now also like I can dodge forward, but I can't roll.
And get hit by that.
But I can't roll through attacks. Like this isn't Dark Souls.
You
can't-
can no dodge has some iframes.
Right.
It depends on what type of dodge it is, which depends on the armor. But you do get some iframes. It's just it depends on your skill if you can use them or not. Right?
You almost hit me. Come on, bear.
Come on, bear.
Come on, bear.
So
I
the
feel
bear-
bad about this because my father's name is Bjorn, which is bear in
So you
Norwegian.
irrationally feel bad. You've got some daddy issues. Oh, it's charge attack.
Yeah.
So you basically just stopping. You basically stuff his attack, right? Because
I'm
he
gonna
didn't have
just-
hyper armor
I'm just
there
gonna-
yet.
I threw it at him. Finally.
Congrats.
Nicely
I
done.
swear I play this game all the time.
So basically, in general, the pace of combat has changed quite a lot.
Yeah.
There's no, you can still mash your button if you want, but there's way less kind of spam swing. There is way less kind of run into things and then just start attacking, or run into things and then throw people in the air with the hammer, stuff like that, right? There's more, it's a bit more meticulous, a bit more involved now.
Right.
It's also more spectacular than before.
And here's the bad news. There's a cost to first-person camera.
Yes.
Yeah. Like
So-
Basically now, when you play the game in first person, when you pull out a weapon or anything in your hands, you switch to third person.
we intend the game to be played in third person.
We have to for the combat system.
It is still possible
It's still
to
possible.
play it in first person, but we don't recommend it.
We have an override button if you really want to take that challenge on.
If you really want to try that.
It says right here, allow first person camera in combat. Like
Don't do it.
when it's now, I can't do anything. But
Yes.
when I
You
unequip,
can still play normally in first
when I
person.
unequip, I can still play normally.
Yeah.
I can still use tools. I can still do harvesting.
No.
No,
At the moment, if you equip anything
Okay,
in your
yeah.
hands, you will be pushed
But
into third person.
sword
Yes.
puts me right out into
And this-
the
and
And if you unwield
third
the
person.
sword, if you were in first person and you unwield the sword now,
Yeah.
you will be put back into first person.
Yes. So-
And then
So if you're
Sword,
doing a lot
not
of
the sword.
building activities, for example, or just running around the world, and
Yeah.
you just prefer to see it this way, you can choose to do it this way.
Right.
But in the parts of the game where it doesn't really make sense anymore to have access to first person, we force you into third person, unless you choose to override it, of course.
And for archery, you will still have the reticle. That's what it's called, and
Yes.
it will always go towards the center.
And if we do what we're planning to do, archery will change even a bit more before launch, and,
Yes.
and have some cooler stuff as well. So we're still working on archery. Archery's. Let's just say we were focusing on getting the core combat, which was the melee setup,
Yep.
in place before we really started to finish up the archery stuff.
Yeah.
But
Like
We have some plans for archery, but I mean, I probably shouldn't really talk about them, but because I don't want to give people false hope.
yes,
But we have some plans for archery, and it depends entirely on how things look from here to launch, if we will put them in or not.
Yep.
They're not cheap, they're not free. and they will enhance archery, but it's maybe something that we won't be able to do. So,
Yes. But yeah, it is still a work in progress. We've come a long way in the months that we've been doing this.
Yes, but let me address that a little bit. Some people have been asking about patching and stuff. Part of the reason that this cannot go live when it's half finished is because it's a holistic thing. We need to finish not just one weapon. We can't just change one weapon and have the system work. We have to have all the weapons working, or the system didn't work at all.
Yeah.
Which, for example, why we cut crossbows, because we just didn't see them working. So that's why there's been a delay in patching, and there will be delays going forward towards launch as well with patching stuff, just because we have so many things we need to polish and finish and get in place. But this should be coming to test live mid-February. That's what we're hoping for.
Yeah. That's what we're aiming for and hoping for.
Yes.
See, these guys I can kill
you need
quite
to stop,
easily.
You need to stop spawning noobs as enemies.
Spawn.
How about a
Go
spawn?
captain.
Yeah, go captain.
Go captain.
Yeah.
Black Hand Captain?
Go black hand captain.
Yeah.
Let's see.
All
how
right.
we do
That's
this.
not even a hard captain.
I'm gonna fail. Oh, he has heavy armor.
And here's a 200 hammer. There you go.
Oh,
This should be
God.
fun. Come on, Jens, you got this.
Boom.
Hey, you're doing pretty
Yes.
well. That was
easy.
yeah.
You made that look easy. Well done.
I'm gonna fight him again. Captain. Relic Hunter Captain. Let's go.
This one is easy, I think.
Oh, he has a spear.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fight him with a hammer. Oh, I'm gonna kick him.
I don't think that kick worked. Though.
Nope.
I think this guy might be plowing you to death. Have you even hit him
Don't
yet?
talk about plowing. There we go. All right.
You're doing the right thing. You're basically making a choice every win.
Dodging and weaving.
Finishing your combo and accepting the penalty
Yeah.
that comes with that, or dodging out of the way, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Got it.
You have to make difficult choices.
Yeah.
That's the important part. Combat forces you into that.
Yes.
That's good.
It's funny. It's funny how it all feels really kind of quick paced. The kind of decisions you have to do, you need to do them really fast.
Yeah.
But then once you become better and you understand better what the different weapons give you and what options you have, it's like time slows down. It's a pretty.
I that's one of my favorite things to do in the game, like setting up my perks to match my combat build, and then sort of like, oh yeah, okay, now I can apply bleeds. I do 25% more damage.
Yes.
25% more damage. A cripple counts as like it's once you get the status effects lined up with other things, it works really nicely.
Someone was wondering how this works for keyboard and mouse. I am playing now on keyboard and mouse. Like, you still move the camera.
Yeah, like do
Using here.
WSAD.
Yeah.
That's WSAD.
That is WASD. Like, I am
and just
side
move the
strafing.
move the mouse now. That's mouse movement.
Yeah, and then wherever I'm facing, usually like if
the
I'm,
attacks always go to the center of the camera.
yeah.
Cool.
All right, and the like I said, we mentioned this previously, but some people might have come in late. The weapon trails, like these things, they are also still a work in progress. We might tone them down a little bit and do different things with them, because like right now it's just all about communicating as much information to the player as possible. So it needs to be a bit over the top, basically, because like I need to know that when I do this, I'm doing a cripple effect, and that is a yellow trail. I need to know that when I'm doing, when I'm doing this, I get the red trail, which is a bleeding effect, and so yeah.
We're treading a fine line there, right? We're trying to find a good point of balance between clearly displaying the differences between the weapons and them looking super pretty.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Did that cover everything?
I think
I think that covered everything.
You didn't fight a kappa.
I did not fight a
Or
kappa.
a shaleback. That's what you call it.
Should I fight a shaleback?
That was just the last thing on the list here. I don't know why it says that.
Oh, we fought a bear and we fought a lot of humans. I mean, it's okay. No, I think internally it's actually called kappa.
It's still called a kappa
I
internally.
think the people call them kappas.
Don't spam the kappa emote. Don't.
Whose fault is that?
I don't know whose fault that is. Whoop.
Don't get hit.
Nope. I'm actually at half health. I shouldn't have done this before. I should have healed before I started. Oh yeah, this guy's gonna... Whoa! Nope. Help. Help!
Damn,
He's
Don't
only
jump out of the
doing
way.
charges.
he only
Boom.
charge you.
Yeah.
Yes!
Get the green one out.
Congratulations, you killed the first monster you meet in the game.
Yes,
Well
at
done.
level 50 with 30 with 30 in strength.
Nicely done.
Yeah, now they're spamming the Kappa emote. Of course they are.
Oh, of course, Kappa Ross and everything.
I'm not gonna spawn a red dragon. I'm not gonna do that.
No, you would. Yeah, well, you can. You're gonna die.
Yeah, don't do that.
The red Kappa, they was doing only one attack.
Oh god.
I think they might have respawned.
I'm sundered. They respawned. Shit. All right. 7.
Oh, Jens Erik. He
No.
lured you in.
So what he did, what the NPC did there is
We've added glows to the bracelet so
Yeah,
you can
that's
find
it.
your bodies at night.
Yep.
Sorry.
the NPC there purposely delayed the next swing to wait to see if you were gonna step in or not. And when you step in, it actually released the swing.
All right. Yep.
That's something that 200 hammer dudes do.
Good to know.
It makes them pretty dangerous.
All right. I think it's time to wrap it up. I was gonna comment on something. I see a lot of people in the chat asking about stuff that everyone's asking about right now, which is stuff like mounts, the purge, sorcery, all that stuff. I know you're all very desperate for information, and you will get it. Hopefully next week, we're gonna basically give you a list of things that are making it in for launch, and what isn't making it in for launch, and the reasons why certain things may have been delayed or not, basically. So there is information forthcoming, just so you know. Okay, I think that's it.
That was a lot of stuff to cover, I think.
Yes, I think that's it. If you came in late, we're putting this up on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/funcom. And so you'll be able to catch up on all of the stuff. It's been a very information-heavy stream. I don't think the next one will be as information-heavy. Depends on what we have to show off. Next time might just be like a fun playing thing. We'll see. And the combat changes are planned to go out on test live mid-February, so a couple of weeks, maybe, and then we'll get in all your feedback, all your bug reports, all that stuff, and we'll continue the work. Okay, is that it? I think that's it. Xbox players, if you missed the newsletter that we put out, due to the whole submission and certification process, we've had to put a hold on patches until March at the earliest. This is incredibly unfortunate, and we're very sorry that it has to be this way. But if you go to our news, go to the main website, click news, you can find the latest. I think it's the latest or the newsletter before that, basically explaining everything much better than I can do now off the top of my head. And we will get back to patching. We have not forgotten about the console version. We have not forgotten about the PC version. But there's a lot of stuff going on right now.
But we stupidly decided to release on PC, console, like Xbox and PS4 at the same time. So then we have to do a lot of stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on right now, basically preventing us from patching. But we will get back to it. There will be more updates. The game is not finished, and we will put out a bunch more stuff. All right, I think that's it. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks. That's when the next dev stream is. Because I am fucking off to London next weekend.
Oh, nice.
For a weekend getaway. That's going to be fun.
Nice. Are you going to watch the Phantom of the Opera?
No, I'm going to watch Hamilton.
Nice.
Because it's the opening premiere of Hamilton in London.
There you go.
Nice.
Next Saturday. That's going to be fun. All right. Joel, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for
Oscar,
having me.
thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for explaining all about the new combat stuff. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks. And yeah, bye-bye.